Hi guys. Hello, how are you? Back again, another live stream. A little bit later than yesterday. It wasn't quite the when it came to people in the chat and just views in general. Wasn't I was getting quite big numbers the week before. I think it was the one that I did last Monday. I think overall now I'm sitting with 2,500 views. But hopefully now we should give it some time, get some more people in, have some good chat, shoot the breeze, as they say. Um, I've been speaking quite an awful lot when it comes to the Schofield stuff. Um, and to be honest with you, I do want to get off of it. I want to get off of the Schofield talk. It's just, I don't know. It's just getting a little bit. It is getting a little bit tiresome. I want to be talking about other things. I don't want to be just known as the Philip Schofield guy. Getting a lot of views off the back of his name. So I want to be talking about some other things. Hence why I mentioned Michael Sheen, the actor. Some of the silly comments that he's made. But also we'll touch on the stuff when it comes to and obviously the stuff in relation to Philip Schofield as well, because this there was the Commons Select Committee earlier this morning. So I will want to be talking about these things. Aye, Cara himself. Always count on you to come through. Hopefully it'll just gradually more and more people will come in the chat. I believe Maureen, hopefully, where are you at, Maureen? If you're there, holla, as the kids say. But yeah, where should I begin? But hopefully, just to get some more numbers up, and I'll start talking more. But where are we? So I can make a start anyway. So the stuff, one of the stories today is that with actor Michael Sheen objects to non-Welsh actors in Welsh roles. So actor Michael Sheen has said he finds non-Welsh actors playing Welsh characters hard to accept. And many people have said, well, is this kind of like, is this hypocrisy here? Because I mean, you've got an Edinburgh-born Tony Blair. He's played in The Queen. He played David Frost from the Kent. He played Brian Clough, the former football manager. I can always count on you, Cara. Thank you. Hi, Maureen. How are you? Hi, Julia Cass. Julia Cass had some good stories from Maureen yesterday. He had bumped into Kanye West one time, and he also had dealt with Dan Wooten. So good to see you, Julia Cass. But yeah, so you've got Michael Sheen here, and I don't know what he's talking about here. I mean, Michael Sheen's done very well. He is a good actor overall. To come from Newport to really be one of the big top actors, to really go and make something of yourself. But I don't know what he's talking about here though, because at the end of the day, that's the game. It's you're acting. You're being somebody you're not. Some people say that hundreds of years ago, the arts was referred to as your or early on, I guess, when it came to like acting showbiz, it's seen as people are lying for a living. That's what Johnny Depp said. As an actor, he's lying for a living. But the thing is, when it comes to art, it shouldn't matter. These things shouldn't matter. You know what I mean? Hi, Daddy Alpha. Yeah, I don't know what to make of him, the guy Michael Sheen, Cara, but I was going to get onto some of the stuff with him, right? So, I mean, to me, it's like, I like, let's say hypothetically, I was an actor. I'm an actor. I'm Scottish. Would I really care that Johnny Depp can do a really great Glasgow, Scottish accent? I think it was like a Glaswegian accent. No, he just does a really good accent. I should admire that. You know what I mean? I shouldn't like find it hard to accept. You should actually appreciate that these actors, if they're really good at what they do, and like let's just say, for example, an American guy can do a really good Welsh accent. You should admire that, surely, right? and not find it hard to accept. I don't get it. Um, you know, like, yes, so he's talking about, oh, well, not particular in a point of principle, blah blah blah, but and talking about, oh, many actors who've come from quite privileged backgrounds be particularly compelling when playing characters from working class backgrounds. Yeah, we've seen this before. There was some other woke actress that was complaining about how, well, I mean, she's from a working class background, but she was being critical of these, like upper middle class actors who, like, they want when they're playing a working class character, they call it a real it's a gritty part, or a gritty role or whatever. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, um, but yeah, I was actually, because Daddy. Do you know if you heard of Army Paz, Daddy Alpha, ex Army Paz? Cara, you've heard of him. You probably have as well, Maureen. But yeah, because he did a video on this, and I was saying to myself when I heard these comments, right? Yeah, Uport. Yeah, he's from Uport. But when I heard these comments from Michael Sheen, I was just thinking to myself, oh, I can only imagine what ex Army Paz would have to say about this. And yeah, no surprise, he thinks he's a prick. But I was watching the speech that he did on that he did with yeah, Roger Trout, Cara, Roger Trout. But no, he's a good guy, Cara, and he's subscribed to my channel. He's a guy that's like killing it right now. Hundreds of thousands of views in his videos, 40,000 subscribers. He's subscribed to me, which something he didn't have to do, but I give him his due. But yeah, but Michael Sheen, though, you had the whole thing, the speech with Wales. Um, why does he play that military Dumbright? You'd have to ask him, Julia Cass, right? Initially, it sounds like the start of the 21st Century Fox theme, right? That's what it kind of sounds like. Or is it? Do they still do it that? Yeah, 20th century, 21st Century Fox, whatever it's called. That's what it sounds like initially, right, with the drums. But he had the whole speech. You have to go see it with the Wales team. I mean, some of them they're just with their arms crossed, and then one guy's kind of like there, like you can see, like trying not to laugh, and it was just kind of strange. I mean, maybe there was a reason that you could only see about 8 of the Wales players on camera. The other ones were at the side and were just, they wouldn't have been able to hold their laughter. But you had the whole thing. Dare you write your names on that page, pounding through your heart. It's like, what the hell? The Red Star, the gates of Qatar. Ah! It's there at your chest, at your back, at your sides. Sons of Speed. But, well, to be fair, Sons of Speed was a nice little double entendre. That would have been in reference to Gary Speed, rest in peace, the former Wales manager. At first, that went over my head. I just thought speed is in being fast, but that is a nice little double entendre from somebody who writes lyrics. But yeah, I mean, a little bit OTT, but if the Scottish football team wanted me to do like a little poem or a rap to the football team to G them up, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't turn it down. I'm turning the Scottish up, Cara. I'm turning it up. But there is a guy who plays in the Scottish Premier League. He did hear my rap that I've done on Scotland. I'll leave the link in the chat in a bit. And he gave me a tune, bro. A tune, bro. So I got a tune, bro, from a guy that plays football in the Scottish Premier League. Used to play for Celtic actually as well. Julio Cassi should have done the rank one with the gong. What are you exactly referring to, Julio Cass? I don't know about that. Sorry. Newport has a beautiful beach. I wouldn't know, John. I've been to Rail, Prestatyn, Llandudno, but never been to Newport though. But maybe one day I'll go. World Porridge Making Championships. You were saying something about porridge yesterday, right, Julia Cass? You were up here one time, you got a really nice breakfast, right, or something? I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of the porridge championships, though. I did see something about a cheese rolling thing where people are running down the hills, something to do with that, some crazy thing. But I hear though that the soap awards is on, right? The soap awards is on. A lot of people seem to be really liking Jane McDonald as the host, right? Damn sure a lot more than they would have liked if Philip Schofield was doing it. And yeah, I mean, we should have known that back at the time. There was no way he was going to make it to the soap awards, right? There was no way that was going to happen, eh? Uh, oh, is it the Gloucester Festival? Uh, Porridge with salt or sugar? God, you might think I'm boring, Cara, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of porridge. I much prefer Weetabix personally, but yeah, I don't think there's been any dodgy jokes though about Philip Schofield at these soap awards. Maybe like 20, 25 years ago when things weren't as like sensitive and PC, but I haven't heard any about any jokes or even maybe slight references to Phil. Um, just looking to see if there's anything on Twitter. No, can't see anything. You love your porridge, Lucas. Do you love your porridge more than you love your Aberdeen rolls? NTA Awards 1995. Oh, is that when he actually came out? All right. But then Phil, I think someone in Phil's PR team had a like played a large part in outing him. Like they were gonna have a story out there on him and expose it, but then he just decided to like ultimately do a tell-all story with the paper or something like that. Um, I don't see anything about any jokes though, Philip Schofield jokes from the awards. Just the first thing when you search Philip Schofield's name, it comes up. It's Lawrence Fox. He's saying about Schofield. This is what abusers do. They threaten their partner with the repercussions of their behavior should the partner not comply with the abuser's demands. Hmm. Yeah, I imagine most of you, and I can't say I disagree with that. Really, you know. Yeah, yeah. There's some other crazy thing that they do, Maureen. I can't remember. Is it like when it's like Shrove Tuesday or something? They're trying to get something. And it's like all these guys punching and kicking one another to get this thing. I can't remember it, but Giza Buttery. Cara likes her butteries. But you've got any more stories, Julia Cass, about your time when in the tabloid world? Do you meet any other celebrities or me? Ugh. John's a regular, Maureen. We've got some of the regulars in here. Julio Cass, I think, was first one yesterday, or maybe he's been in a two or three now. Can't quite, but I mean, I'm trying to get it. I was expecting conference, but I haven't got anything back yet. Say they give it 24 hours, but I haven't got any confirmation back yet. But hopefully that will come through very shortly. You met Michael Barrymore, Julicas. How was he? What? Oh, drugged up to the eyeballs. Right, right. Yeah. To be fair, he didn't seem too bad when I was growing up as a kid, like as a presenter. You know what I mean? He seemed to like he had that quality to him as a presenter. You know, as obviously it's another story, but um, I didn't really know enough about him. I just know that like 5 years after all those allegations and all that stuff, he was now doing like theater stuff, and he was Scrooge in a play here in It was up here in wintertime. You met John Bon Jovi. How was what was Bon Jovi like? Someone joking on Twitter, "Villain of the year," and the winner is Philip Schofield, runner-up Holly Willoughby. Uh, yeah, I mean, do you think what do you think happened with that thing with the guy drowning in his swimming pool, though, with Barrymore? What's your thoughts on that, Julio Cass? You know what happened, right? So, so is Barrymore guilty at all in this, or is he no guilty? You think he's guilty? Yeah, I think a few people. I think even someone said to me about Barrymore about maybe that's a video for me to do to 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 do some stuff like research on Barrymore and find out some stuff about him. Do a weird thing with Jeremy Beadle. Huh. I'd read that Jeremy Beadle he's a Freemason. Could you imagine that probably Barrymore was a Freemason as well? Is that how maybe he got protected? And if he hadn't been a Freemason, he would have maybe in jail. He would have been in jail for years. Or what do you think? Hi, Astral. So Barrymore, yeah, Barrymore's no saint in this, right? No, no. It's like I had my doubts even about like John Leslie, right? But he every time it's been in court, it's been not guilty or it's been not proven with John Leslie, right? But what you can prove in a court of law and what actually happens, they are two different things. Kind of too many weird stuff happened that night, and Stuart's injuries were horrific. Right. Could have, but is it possible though that maybe somebody else did it? Someone that maybe Barrymore was close to. He was close to, but then he still felt that thing like I've got to protect him. I'm gonna have my his whatever his other pal's back was, or again, I don't know. I haven't really done much digging into this though. So, oh, did just one sec. So, so what would the difference have been if Dan Wooten was at the Sun, Julio Cast? Would he have gone out to destroy Michael Barrymore? What would have happened? Would there have been a cover up? Like, what do you think would have gone down? Yeah, I'm sure he probably was into some weird stuff, right? Barrymore there. Yeah, he's just vanished. I mean, he was a big presenter in the 90s and just poof, gone, yesterday's news. A documentary on him a long time ago. I'd have to find one of the documentaries. I imagine there's a few there out there on obviously here, right? And see what went down. Trade-offs and implications. Yeah, absolutely. And why did with the story, Julia Cass? Why did you choose not to write it? Was it like worried about getting sued for libel, or were you afraid? Were you in fear of your life? I mean, what was ultimately the reason? Yeah, they put him on Big Brother mode, and was that the same year that Savile came on, right? Okay. Hi, Finola. How are you? No, no, I know I know the story wasn't about you, Julia Cass. I was asking what made you why did you decide not to write the story about you had a story about this guy and you chose not to write it. What was the reason for that? All right, sorry, yeah, I see your answer here. So had some personal issues that infringes boundaries as a human being. Right. Well, you have a conscience, right? You know, unlike many people in that world. So fair play. Oh God, George Galloway kinda. Oh, don't get me started on George Galloway. Would you like me to be the cat? What the hell? Yeah, I'm sure Barrymore was the same, right? Barrymore was probably the same though, right? I mean, he was probably playing the victim, right? Like Mr. Schofield. Oh, I don't know if you saw it, Maureen, but yeah, it was embarrassing. You know, not how a man should conduct himself. But so a lot of people have been kind of taking the mick out of Holly's statement, right? Holly Willoughby's statement from this morning, yesterday morning. So you had Amanda Holden mocking her for it. The whole "Are you okay?" thing. Hope you're okay. She had a white dress similar to the dress Holly had on. Um, so not like I'm a particularly huge big follower or fan of Amanda Holden, but thought that was kind of funny. You had even Michaela Strachan mocking Holly Willoughby over that. God, Michaela Strachan back. I remember I was a kid, the Really Wild Show. Like, gee, and so even an MP made reference to it with the committee thing. It was an SNP guy, Wilson. He questioned the ITV director of strategy, policy, and regulation, Magnus Brook, about the work culture. Um, so I don't want to really go through the whole transcript, um, but he said, first of all, I suppose I should ask, are you okay? Magnus Brook responded, am I okay? Yes, I'm fine, thank you. I bet he didn't see that question coming. That probably caught him off guard just a bit. Uh, but yeah, I'll get through it. But yeah, it was cringe as, wasn't it? It was yeah, oh yeah, Katie Hopkins, yeah, because she had her hair, she did her hair kind of like Holly, right? Kind of like with the makeup, and I haven't actually seen it, but I imagine it's some good shit, bro. uh, Finola, Michaela Strachan's not a mouthy type at all. Yeah, she always seemed to give off a good vibe, from what I remember, right? So if she's making a dig about her, then chances are Holly is probably not a good, probably a bit of a fake, you know. Um, I mean, again, I don't know if their paths have crossed a lot. I imagine being both TV presenters, that their paths must have crossed, you know, at least a few times, right, over the years. Um, but yeah. Oh no, John, I've seen that clip of him in the American court, and oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's got a really good way with words, right? And again, I don't really want to get into politics because I spoke to a certain um, person on this chat, and they know who they are. They kind of advised I should probably not talk too much about politics, but when it comes to that, how he talks and how he comes off, He really does have a way with words. I do kind of admire him, respect him a bit for that. Um, maybe personal things and comments in relation to what sexual etiquette. I'm kind of like, nah, you shouldn't really be saying those things, George. You should kind of leave that alone. I don't know if that's just him kind of purposely meaning to kind of be controversial. Probably is. He wouldn't admit it, but you know what he can be like though. She used to present The Hitman and Her. Yeah, Julia Cass. That's kind of like Take That got their start on that show, right? Um, Galloway's Brilliant Minded, Cara. I used to like Kilroy. Is that the guy Kilroy that had the chat show in the 90s? Is that who you're referring to, Julia Cass? Kilroy. God, that seems like so long ago now, though, right? I mean, I even came across something about the actor that played the demon headmaster passed away, I think, just last month. And it's like, Christ, the demon headmaster, that was like 25 years ago. And it wasn't even really a show I watched, but it just like how much time has passed and how things feel so bloody long ago. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But this statement though, that are you okay? So that the MP who was quizzing the guy Magnus Brookie said, because I know that's the question de jure at this morning. I spent some time at the weekend talking to whistleblowers from ITV, including people who work and have worked in this morning. It seems like a very unhappy place. Are you satisfied with the duty of care that the editorial team and senior managers provide to staff, especially young staff working at ITV there and ITV more generally? Magnus Brook responded by saying, I think there's a sophisticated and significant safeguarding and duty of care at ITV, bollocks, with a significant set of policies. We have a code of conduct which sets out expectations on how people behave, bollocks. And that deals with a number of issues from equal opportunities to respect of work, bollocks, dignity and understanding. We then have an important set of requirements which hold people to account internally. Again, bollocks. And yeah, that's all. That's all I can. That's all I can really say with that. Really, But yeah. Julia Cass, time flies, no doubt. Going clubbing vicariously via the tally. Yeah, they would go to these clubs all around the UK, right? I'm sure to Scotland at one point, right? And it was like these kind of like lesser known, like just art bands, artists that are on the come up, right? But then going on, so the MP asked, why are so many of the staff unhappy, former and current staff? He goes, Magnus Brook, I can't answer that question at all, Mickelson. As you know, we've appointed Jane Malke, a KC, to have a look at the circumstances. And he goes on, the MP, yes, I know you've already had an inquiry, of course, and we'll come onto this on the 14th in more detail. But several claims ITV made about the previous inquiry don't seem to hold water on closer inspection. What do you make about the bullying allegations that we've heard over the last week? What do I make of them? Well, he just asked you that. Trying to buy himself some time. The MP says, yeah, what do you make of them as a senior ITV official? What do you feel when you hear staff complain about bullying? Because that's the worst thing you can possibly hear as a manager. MP says, look, that's a pivot. Remember, Matt Hancock said that on I'm a Celeb. Look, that's a pivot. They're trying to get away from the question. He said, look, we take our responsibilities in relation to safeguard and duty care very seriously. Bullying is absolutely in breach of our code of conduct and it's very clearly set out. We have a set of policies around bullying and harassment at work, and clearly bullying is unacceptable. If we find bullying that's inconsistent with our policy, we'd expect people to report it and we'd expect it to be dealt with appropriately. And it will be. No, it wasn't. And I don't know, that's quite a lot to go through, but so Joe Cass, you've been you commenting on Pete Waterman's dancing, right? Like his dad dancing. You know something, Julio Cass? I take it you know Stock Aitken and Waterman, right? I follow the guy Mike Stock on Twitter. Mike Stock actually he actually retweeted one of my raps. It's a rap that I did an acapella. Uh, maybe I'll leave the link in a minute, but yeah, I think that he's been saying that Mike Stock's been working on a musical for SAW, Stock Aitken Waterman, that's going to be coming soon. They had some alright songs, Duocast, to be fair. Some might just write off as cheesy pop, but they had some decent stuff, in fairness. Uh, Alison Limerick. I'll have to check that. There's a real underrated one, Duocast. Mondo Kane, the band by Georgie Fame, New York Afternoon. I'll find that. It's a good one. That wasn't like one of their big ones, you know. Here's the link. I've left the link for it. New York Afternoon. It's kind of got that kind of like a kind of a jazzy vibe to it. It's quite decent. Princess, say I'm your number one. Hmm. Cliff Richard. Some people, we've had some comments on Cliff Richard or Kitty. Cara knows what I'm on about when I say Kitty. And I think even maybe Callie P was thinking of working on a Cliff Richard video soon. Good old Kitty. Maybe even top rumors. There's stuff out there about Top being connected to that. A lot of Brannigan shattered glass. La da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da. So, Cliff Richard is probably worse than Phil. You might be right, Geocast. You might be right. I mean, what he sued the BBC. He sued the BBC over you know, footage of him and Savile. They were to air that. How could he have the authority, the power to do that? Like, well, I don't know about independent labels, John. I mean, you know, he didn't really get his break, Mike Stock and even Pete Waterman, right, until they were like early mid 30. You know, they came up through the club scene. I don't know. I mean, there's always going to be the big. There's going to be the little fish in the small pond, and then the whales in the ocean. But I don't know. Hi, Andrew. Hiya. Yeah. Yeah, it was so disingenuous what she said. Like nobody has been buying it. It's been pretty much, I would say, about 95% like people being critical of Holly online, and you get the odd maybe 5% that'll, oh, Holly, she's great, so proud, and such a lovely woman, and I suppose with independent labels, Finola, it becomes a point where independent labels will end up becoming kind of major, and then they become part of the establishment, though, right? Yeah, it's possible, you know. It's possible about Kitty, Cara. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's even rumors out there that, I mean, I heard people try and people said that they saw Cliff Richard dressed up as a woman at London King's Cross Station in the 70s. Now, I don't know how true that could be. I mean, even if you were to be dressing in drag with makeup and a hair, long hair, or whatever, would you really take that risk of being out there in public? I don't know about that. Hazel Dean. Hazel Dean. Seem to know that name, but was she part of Stock Aitken Waterman? So Mike Stock recalled the pressure on Dean to produce a follow up in hope of a second hit. Yeah, you need that pressure though, don't you? 'Cause it's so difficult in the music business. Well, she gives off that vibe, right? Yeah, I'm not sure, Cara, about those stories, but certain people were saying online with Cliff Richard they'd spoke to people in the police, and the police it was like they all knew about Cliff and other stuff that he got up to. Like they all knew about it. Um, that's other stuff you could find online about that. She was part of SAW, Stock Aitken Waterman. For some reason, I almost misread that. I thought it said SWV, but it's SAW. SWV was that R&B group in the 90s. They did the song right here that heavily sampled Michael Jackson, Human Nature. Decent song though. I don't mind some of the Stock Aitman stuff, but I just got speaking to Mike Stock though. He's like he's a little bit out there with his views, but I mean he's an alright guy. I mean, very talented guy, right? I mean, he was like one of the main producers, him and the Aitken guy, and then like he was the Waterman was like the money man, the manager, got all the deals done and shit. Janis Joplin. That's a name. It's a name you hear a lot of, John. I hear a lot of, but I haven't really listened to much of her stuff. Probably one I've got to check out. Cliff Richard is Carrie. Did Cliff Richard write any of his own stuff? He mostly just have a team of writers. People write for him. Nick Hayward. That name rings a bell. Nick Hayward. Why do I know that name? Nick Hayward. He was like on one of those, yeah, Haircut 100. He was like hosting one of those. Oh, he was doing one of those things where it's like the best songs of the 80s, and he was like he was presenting it. Janis Joplin. I'll take your word on it. If you love her, Cara, then I take your word on it that she must be good, right? Must be decent. Karen Carpenter. Yeah, I've heard some of the stuff with Karen Carpenter, Finola. Do you produce music, Julia Cass? Bernie Taupin. What was Bernie Taupin like? Yeah, I think the golf scene in the 80s, Finola, I imagine must have been a much better than the buddy emo scene in the noughties, right? All those kids moaning about how shit their life is, right? So, here in Dublin, nice. 80s was good, wasn't it? I mean, I wasn't an 80s kid, but just for creativity and originality, I mean, 80s, I have to be honest, even as a 90s kid, it was probably 80s was much better than the 90s with the artists and the quality. I mean, with the artists like Michael Jackson, um, George Michael, Whitney Houston, hell, even Madonna. I did a video of her, the Dark Side of, but she did still have some good songs though. You saying it's expensive now, Finola, or expensive back 80s, or both? I saw the rapper 50 Cent here years back, but I don't remember the tickets. It wasn't that pricey for a ticket, to be fair. And it was heaving. It was sold out. It was good times. Gladys Knight, Daddy Alpha. Some of her stuff, yeah. Gladys Knight. What was the one song I like with Gladys? I think uh, there was a song, sorry, yeah, it was a Denise Williams Free song. That I was getting that mixed up with Gladys Knight, but Denise Williams Free, that had quite a nice vibe to it. Some of the 70s stuff is pretty good, eh? Cara, is true crime a path you see yourself going down? I don't know. Maybe see that's that's the thing, Cara. I think maybe it's being around Maureen and Callie P. They might lead me down this true crime path because I think that's. I think you might know better. Speak for Callie, Maureen. Was it he was Callie was very involved in the true crime community and he's maybe kind of gotten out of it now. Um, maybe that's something to do. I mean, there's so many different ways you can, when it comes to building yourself up on YouTube and getting the views up, getting the subscribers up. But I'll tell you something because I did promise I was going to do a video on Will Smith. I was going to do a video on Will Smith. I said the poll, dark side of, the options were P Diddy, Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, and then there's Will Smith. So I want to do the video on Will Smith. Um, I'm still not sure. Just maybe to do a long 20-25 minute video, or maybe break it down in 3 parts or 4 parts, because you could break it down. You could go back to the early days with Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff, even the show itself, Fresh Prince of Bel Air. You could go to around the times, late 90s, noughties, when he was the man, the biggest box office attraction. And then there's the stuff with his kids. I don't want to get too involved with the kids. I don't like going there when kids are involved. But there's obviously the stuff with Jada. There's the stuff with with very sketchy marriage and affairs there. There was the stuff with Chris Rock last year. So I don't know. It'll be probably a long video. The darker side of, well, that's one thing, Cara. It's weird because I got I got the dark side of Philip Schofield monetized, but when I didn't get the dark side of Madonna monetized, but when I changed the headline, then it was monetized. So I don't know if they'll accept the dark side of Will Smith title. I don't know. I might have to give it another nicer, I guess, politically correct title. Um, yeah, Maureen's from the true crime community. I had an idea, Maureen. Yeah, I think because I've seen a couple of videos that Callie's done. Like, I didn't watch them in their entirety, but yeah, he it's maybe some stuff there. I maybe have to have a look on Reddit threads and get into some stuff there, but uh, Will Smith, founder of Scientology. Yep, that's true. Um, one of the biggest one of the biggest donations that Scientology received, that was from the woman, the lady actress who did the voice of Bart Simpson. And that is very sketchy to me. I mean, first of all, we barely know who this person is, and it's a Bart Simpson, the voice of a man. How a woman was able to play that is quite something, right? I wouldn't have, wow. But there's a lot of stuff there to do with Scientology. Some questions there. I think there's a good few channels on YouTube, people kind of like exposing Scientology. Yeah. And it's kind of a shame. I want to like Tom Cruise as well. There's something about Tom Cruise where it's like, I want to believe that he's actually a good guy and he means well and he wants to help people. But there's just something about Tom Cruise, though. I don't know. Just a very tense vibe with that guy. You'd feel comfortable, I imagine, most people being around him, unless you're Scientologist. Well, actually, if you are a Scientologist, you're very low level. You probably would feel the same way. You would feel uncomfortable around him. Just something about him, And some of the stuff you could say about Scientology about to do with certain medications, you could say, or maybe they have some good points there. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of questions there. A lot of maybe that's some stuff I could do some videos in Scientology, but Gladys Knights in Ireland. Wow. Was it Gladys Knight that was kind of like seen as the person that that discovered well, she partly was part of the reason she was the discovered helped Jackson 5. She convinced, was it Betty Gordy, to sign the Jackson 5? Was that, am I right? Cara, well versed in Scientology and speak regularly to many exes. Yeah, and a lot of them, Cara, right? They pay a shed load of money, right, to be in Scientology. Like the amount of money that they pay a year, right, to be in that cult, and a lot of them are end up being very poor, right? The cars that they drive in aren't very nice. Clothes aren't they wear particularly nice. Very kind of like basic life that they have, right? Yeah. So also you had the stuff with Martin Frizell, right? It was yesterday that Martin Frizell, the bullying culture, and was asked whether this morning's toxic, and he made a weird claim that's toxic. And I was like, "What the hell is that?" I had some, and I figured it was probably something like a fruit. It sounded like it was a type of fruit or something, but it was very weird response, very flippant, and a very kind of arrogant response. To me, it's kind of response of some kind of like he knows himself that kind of like the walls are closing in, and he's kind of like, I think he's really going to be, he's going to be, he really is going to be squirming next week when right, yeah. That can be very common, kind of about what they do, Cara, and Scientology. And then the Miscaviage's wife's gone missing. They're doing nothing about it. I mean, that should tell you something right there. I mean, very strange, right? Gladys didn't like Diana Ross. There was a lot of feuds though with these singers, right? These female singers. It probably felt very kind of cutthroat. It was, I mean, it is cutthroat, the music business. I mean, wasn't it Patti LaBelle and Aretha Franklin had issues, right? Ah, interesting, Finola. Father's a Scientologist. So have you ever been a Scientologist ever? Did your dad try and talk you into it, or hi, Alani? Yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You feel uncomfortable being around the guy. Just yeah, you would burn out, Maureen, looking into Tom Cruise. Yeah, no doubt. You're all right. So you're not a Scientologist, right? Right. I had an experience. I don't know if you've heard of this religion before, guys. The Baha'i faith. I came across these Persian this Persian woman and Persian guy, and they came off quite nice, and they were just like looking for directions to somewhere, whether they needed them or not, or they were just using an excuse to try and lure somebody in. And then I got speaking to them and just a little general chit chat. Ended up exchanging numbers and got talking to them. They're really nice. And then first time I met them, it was just general random conversations talking about life. The second time I meet them, it's this other guy there, and all of a sudden it's like they've got these books out. I can't remember what the books are called, something to do with Sumai or something. But then all of a sudden they're trying to, all of a sudden I discover that they're trying to preach their religion to me. And I thought this was very strange. This came here for. And it was a very weird moment because they're trying to preach their religion on me, which is really their job because it was like they were from one guy was oh, where was he from again? I think one guy was actually there. He was raised in Iran. One woman was, I think she was, her parents were born and raised in, her parents were from Iran, but she grew up in Australia. So they were doing their thing where they go over somewhere for a year. It's similar to what, Mormons do with their missionary. Um, and yeah, it was just very weird. It was like they're preaching their religion to me, and it's very weird because I didn't expect this. And it was weird because I didn't know how to respond to that. And they knew it was weird. They just knew it didn't feel right. And then at that point, within about 5 or so minutes, I just kind of left. It wasn't like a bad vibe. It wasn't like, oh, screw you, see you later. It was just kind of like had little niceties and kind of left it at that. And at that point, didn't really speak to them or see them again after that. But I wasn't going to go into any little these kind of cults though. But Daddy Alpha, Gladys Knight performed at Aretha Franklin's funeral. Ah, right. So did they make up in the end, right? Are you speaking about, yeah, Tom Cruise's daughter, Cara? She has like pretty much no contact with him anymore, right? Yeah, ego, self-indulgent life. Yeah. I mean, you could probably meet worse people out there, Lenny. You could probably meet worse people out there, but he's still pretty bad, though, is he? You know that cult in itself. I mean, gee, it's eluding and being sucked in. Absolutely, yeah. Helter skelter moment, John. Hmm. Tory Magoo socks, Cara. What's this about? Someone did a YouTube video on it. Mike Rinder. That's the judge, right? Judge Rinder. Gladys playing at the Olympia Theatre. Lisa McPherson. That's maybe somebody I look into, Cara. I've looked at the videos. Was it Leah Remini? She was the actress. Um, I don't know if she does acting anymore. I imagine she's probably been blackballed from that industry, right? Tom Cruise, I guess, made it a point to get her blackballed. I suppose A Few Good Men. It's that classic line, the with uh Jack Nicholson, right, Lanny? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. But I mean, he has some decent movies though. In fairness, Tom Cruise though, he is good at what he does. Nice, Finola, nice. We have His Majesty's Theatre here in Aberdeen. Um, it's not too bad. I mean, you can have like music performances there. A lot of times it's your musicals, or they've had like Rod Stewart musicals, Beatles musicals. Um, Music Hall's pretty good. I saw the bootleg Beatles there last year. I don't know if you guys have heard of bootleg Beatles, the Beatles tribute band. Um, I saw 50 Cent though here 15 years ago. I miss Jay-Z. I was on holiday when Jay-Z came here. Hard to believe that Jay-Z would come to Aberdeen, but he actually did come up here. Lenny, isn't John Travolta high up in the Scientology chain too? What have they done to that guy behind closed doors? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of rumors there about John Travolta and the seediness with him, right? Um, I mean, you hear different stories with former Scientologists, right? A lot of people say that they thought John Travolta was really nice, really down to earth guy, and then they'll say that Tom Cruise was the guy who was a dick. So I don't know about that. But he was very unhappy though about the how probably I guess what he saw as preferential treatment that Tom Cruise got in the church, and I think that was why in the end didn't Tom Cruise didn't invite him to his wedding, right? Was that '06 with Katie Holmes? Did Miss Cabbage as Tom Cruise evil twin? Yeah, I mean that's true. Singing kettle there, Cara. Yeah, I was a wee kid, 5 or 6, the singing kettle from back in the day. Every auditing session is recorded and kept on file for the day when you wise up and become an SP. Yeah. It's just this whole auditing thing that feels bloody weird, right? I mean, what the frickin' audit, you know? What auditing was in relation to accounting, you know? Christ, I could have become an auditor. I studied accounting at university, but nah, I wasn't going to end up a miserable bastard making 50 grand a year as an accountant. I didn't want that. Uh, Lisa Marie Presley, yes. If she spoke out, if she spoke out against the religion, I would go over to Ireland, but hotels in Dublin are super expensive in the summer. I hate Dublin 7. Oh, yeah, I was speaking about that yesterday, right, Julio Cast? It's like just the price of a pint of Guinness alone in Dublin, right? It's crazy. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right, Maureen. Yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. Just what his wife was wearing. I mean, are you meaning to tell me that she wanted to wear that? Something's just weird there. You know, I mean, is that almost like the equivalent of like a Western woman wearing a burqa? What she wore? Very strange. Um, but yeah, I think until I was a big fan of his music. You know, he's a great producer, good rapper, but until he actually gives a genuine, long, bloody, sincere apology for the Hitler comments, then I can't rock with him no more. Leah Remini is definitely the most outspoken from what I've seen. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I liked her videos. I mean, Miscavige is the guy David Miscavige, his own dad, right? His own dad left the church. I think his own dad was even in fear of his own life, right? You should send me over that to borrow, Cara, the book. I'd be interested to read it. Yeah, he has his issues. Kanye has his issues, Maureen. He just, yeah, thanks, Cara. I appreciate it. We can get that sorted. But yeah, Kanye, I mean, as much, he's a real talented guy, though. Real talented guy. Love a lot of the stuff he does. I like the Jesus is King album. I was really into that. Really good music. But he really has some problems there. And maybe a lot of that goes back from Christ when his mom passed away. And he felt that that was a sacrifice there. That was an inside job. The industry did that. They killed his mom. Yes, so that's the thing, Finola. You could buy these books secondhand on the cheap, right? but they'll charge thousands for them, right? Yeah, no worries, Cara. No problem. Yeah, of course, religion should be free, right? I mean, but then there's even the stuff to do forms of Christianity, right? That people, the tithing, that you give, what is it, 10% of your income to the church? Some people do that. If that's your choice, it's up to you. Then fair enough, right? So, is there any more use? I imagine no one's had the guts to make a joke about Schofield, right, at the soap awards. Oh, here we go. Does anyone follow Charlotte Emma UK on Twitter? Does anybody know that name? She tweeted, Dan Wooten is a nasty and dangerous piece of work. Change my mind. And if you're still there, Julio Cast, you would agree with that, right? Netted condoms, right? Yeah, is that, you could probably say that that was a little bit like the Naked Gun film, right? Priscilla Presley, that scene. I If you're on Twitter, well, Maureen, you might know the name Charlotte Emma. So yeah, she's tweeted, Dan Wooten is a dangerous and nasty piece of work. Change my mind. Julio Cast, I could maybe, because what was it? What was it? He said to you, you only speak when you're spoken to, or something. Oh, you love your porridge, Julio Cast, right? You love your porridge. Just got a good Aberdeen roll down you, right? Yeah, I mean, Depp did lose it. I mean, Rowies for the win. Exactly, Cara. I mean, I don't know. I've got mixed opinions on that, Lenny. That's maybe a video for another day. With that Depp and the Amber Heard thing. Um, don't know if it would be one that would get monetized, but now Cara is ace, Maureen. She's ace. I was looking up. Was it Schofield? If anybody made a joke, don't see anything here about jokes being made. Yeah, buttery. Boxes of oats from Lidl. Is that quality brand, Julia Cass, or is that just the cheap shit? Utterly butterly. But in the snooker world, though, I don't know if any of you guys follow snooker. There's been a big match fixing scandal, and two players, Liang Wenbo and Li Hang, handed lifetime bans. And it turned out that Liang Wenbo was a bit of a nasty piece of work. He had assaulted his girlfriend a few years back, and they also have to pay £40,000 each. Li Hang and Liang Wenbo, but there's quite a few of them now are gonna be getting bans. Some of them it's not for a lifetime ban, a few years, but it's not good though because these some of these guys were a couple of them young up and comers, but it just don't be cheating, don't be getting involved in this stuff with betting and trying to force others into betting as well. But they've had to make a couple of examples out of people though. Yeah, I'd forgot about it, Maureen. That was the thing. I'd forgot about it, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, a few hours ago, there's the verdict for everybody. Um, so Liang Wenbo, he seemed to be quite an affable character, but nah, he was guilty of fixing or being a party to fixing 5 matches, trying to get other players to fix 9 matches, betting on snooker matches, threatening another player. So he's a real wanker. Deleting messages and asking other players to, failing to cooperate with the inquiry. There you go. I don't know, Lenny, if it's a gambling thing, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a gambling thing. I think it's maybe outside influences because there's been that problem, right? There was a Thai snooker player by the name of James Watner, and his dad got shot. And I think it was over. His dad got shot was because he refused to throw a match. That's why. And there's been stories about when it comes to gambling with Michael Jordan. He may have just straight up had a gambling problem, but he makes so much money with businesses and all this stuff with just the name alone that I guess he can afford to gamble and lose money. But then there's the stuff where his dad got killed. Some might have said that was over a gambling debt. Um, I don't know. I mean, one or two of them, Lanny, probably have a gambling problem, but I don't know that's. There might be more to this though. Outside parties, you know. Oh, James Watana, is he still? He had eye problems. Is that part of the reason why you think he went down, or was it just getting older, standard went up, or Frank Zappa in sports? Tang Hulu Kara. So it wasn't nice in the end, right? It wasn't eatable. Michael Jordan likes to gamble. Yep, absolutely, no doubt. I don't think he's made any bones about that. You just don't hear any horror stories about him. Owing or have lost millions, like Charles Barkley lost millions, but so what other comments have we got here? I just wasn't sure if I missed anything. You guys like Frank Zappa, right? Yeah, he's I don't know, Frank Zappa, maybe one of these guys you might say an acquired taste. Shaquille O'Neal, all these NBA players seem to gamble, right? Douglas Ross, his name's on Twitter. He's been trending. I'm sure you. I'm sure you have it. I'm sure you've got. You can make you make a decent pancake breakfast, Cara. No doubt. It's this Illuminati conspiracy theory that Epstein was a fake billionaire. What do you guys think? Was Epstein a fake billionaire set up? He was really an agent. That's a theory that a lot of people have about Epstein. What do you guys think about Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, I think his whole thing was obviously blackmailing the elite to have something over them, have leverage, make sure they would always be indebted to him. Hot day down southeast. Yeah, the heat wave will be coming soon, Maureen. The whole of the UK. We all get the sun. John Daly, the golfer, says he lost about 60 million on blackjack. Christ, yeah. That's no good, Lanny. I've never understood the whole appeal with blackjack and roulette, Lanny. I'm okay at playing poker, but at least with poker, there's some skill involved in poker. I don't get the whole obsession with blackjack and roulette. Sun's out. Was it sun's out, buns out? What the kids say these days? Yeah, there's some stuff on Epstein. There's some stuff on Epstein, Cara. And it's weird because I remember watching do you guys remember that show Dirty Sexy Money? It wasn't a great show. Donald Sutherland was in. It was about that rich family in New York, the Darling family. Some people might say that that was really kind of like a bit inspired, like I don't know, the Trump family, maybe a bit of the Rockefeller family. I don't know, but and then there was that guy that the black rich billionaire guy, like inventor that the guy's one of his daughters got with, and because they had the lawyer, and the lawyer was connected with because I think he was brothers. Well, actually, some of them because his dad, the lawyer, their lawyers, their old lawyer's son ended up. His dad ended up shagging the missus, the family, the matriarch. It's pretty out there, the story, and it's a little bit certain. Some people, I wouldn't say it got the best reviews. Lucy Liu, she's in it, and it only lasted two. There was only two series, right? And then the third series got they put the kibosh to that. But there was a whole thing about him, though. This guy is supposed to be this rich billionaire guy, and really, though, he had someone controlling him, though, and the guy controlling him was the family, the rich family, the Darling family, their lawyer's dad. He was the one pulling the billionaire, the black billionaire's strings. And that just made me think with this Epstein stuff, did he have someone actually pulling his strings? You think, right, when you're somebody that you think of like a billionaire, what do people think when they think of billionaire? What is it they say? Fuck you money, right? You can do whatever you want. No one can tell you what to do. But maybe there's something there to that whole Epstein thing that people were pulling his strings and that really he was an agent, you know? Oh, he's love your roasted cheese. A bit of roasted cheese talk here. Lenny, wasn't the film Crazy Rich Asians called something else in some countries? That wouldn't surprise me, Lenny, because we're getting so politically correct these days. I don't think the title got changed here though, so and we're pretty woke overall in general. Have you watched it, Maureen? Dirty Sexy Money? Half a posh like our Steven. I had no. Listen to me, guys. Like I had earlier on to eat for my dinner. I had a cheese and ham toasty. So don't be claiming that I'm half a posh now, Cara. That's maybe some stuff with Epstein though. Might do some looking into research on that though. But what do you guys think overall with Epstein with the official narrative, obviously, that he supposedly uh, he killed himself? What do you guys think about that overall, though? What's your thoughts on that? Bloody hell, what's Piers Morgan? They've got Piers Morgan reacting to Prince Harry's hacking trial. He's just getting in a car outside his home, and then the media are following him. Bloody hell. Toasty. It's hardly posh. Yeah, you should do some digging on that kind of. But I imagine you've probably heard stuff when it comes to Epstein and people not, believing what we've been told, and like you're saying, Lanny, the official narrative that we're told it is. I mean, I was thinking about this earlier. Um, would it be fair to say that the whole Epstein conspiracy is like a modern day JFK? Would it be fair to say that? Like, I don't think really anybody buys the story that he just decided to kill himself. Now, there's a few different stories. Some people try and say it was actually his cellmate. The cellmate was the one who killed him. I've heard other stuff that I guess they got heavies in to do the job. But again, I don't know. But I don't buy it. I don't believe that he killed himself. A lot of these suicides, when talking about the relations, and when we hear about certain to do with body counts, it's like, nah, I don't buy it. Too posh for tosh. You guys. Spare two, spare two, Lanny. Yeah, you got a point there because second pick. Yeah, I mean, and there's some weird things there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, and what Prince Harry was, the trial started yesterday, right? But he didn't show up. Like, just certain things about that story don't add up. Piers Morgan asks OnlyFans influencer whether she worries her future children might see her racy content one day. And then she goes, they can cry in a Ferrari. Hmm. Is getting naked a feminist act? Okay. Lenny, it was easy in JFK's time. People seem to know even less about how unscrupulous these politicians were. Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Lenny. We don't have the internet. We haven't got the internet like we've got today. So people just don't know all these things and heard these stories and what have you. And that's where, from what I've heard, that's where the conspiracy theorist term comes from. It was the whole people questioning the official narrative of the JFK story. That's where that term comes from, conspiracy theory. Hi, Callie. How are you, mate? Yeah, that's the goal, mate. 2K by end of the week. I'm getting there. Getting the numbers up. Aye. Yeah, you love your you love your porridge, Julio Cass. Uh, but uh, I tweeted that person, Julio Cass, that said Dan Wooten's a nasty, dangerous piece of work. Changed my mind. I said what you told me. Somebody told me that he had said you only speak when you're spoken to. When to a junior staff when he was with the Sun. Um, but yeah, he is dangerous. You would have to watch if you were to really cross with that guy. You'd have to watch. Paul J, the answer to that question, does anybody think the police Scotland's corrupt? That's like asking, is the Pope Catholic? Yeah, so Callie, yeah, so I'll leave my Twitter here, guys. So if you follow me on Twitter, here we go. At Maxter90. Give me a follow there. Luxury porridge. Yeah, we should get something sorted with the porridge, right, for Juliacas, our good friend. Um, I don't think I have to, Maureen. No. Um, I've only had that problem about with some of my songs, my rap songs, and cheers, Callie. Cheers, mate. I've had that problem with old songs because I had a song to the Rihanna "Stay," and then I had one to a Nas "Can't Forget About You." Because that's one thing, Callie, I was saying because I've heard that you're into rap. You make some beats. I write lyrics as well. I write rap lyrics. I don't produce, but that's maybe something down the line we could do something. I'm a bit more. I like my old school stuff like Nas though, and Nas, Jay Z, people like that. A lot of the conscious rap. Big fan of conscious stuff. The cheapo little rolled oats Cast, the cheapo one, the stuff. Cal, yeah, the Discord server, Maureen. I have to check out some of the stuff. Nice, cheers, Callie. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, because I want to get something like a project out there. I want to you call it an album or whatever, but I want to get something out there. Maybe get a Spotify account up and really get some good stuff out there. Yeah, thanks, bro. Thank you. Lenny, the biggest fall from grace in the music business. Interesting you ask that, Lenny, because I actually someone um R. Kelly came up on my Twitter just a couple of minutes ago. He's probably one of them, right? Uh Gary Glitter, maybe one of them. Uh I mean, my style, Cali. I mean, I'm probably kind of conscious, but I can go hard. I can go in on a beat. It could be maybe not like not super hard like grime or certainly not drill rap. I do have one here that I've got. I'll leave it here as a link. This was a rap song that I did. This one was one that I did. It was just 2 years ago when Scotland were in the Euro Championships. We can win. That's a pretty good one if you guys check that out. We've got Cal on Twitter. Follow back. And another one. This was the other one where I had the line. And good golly, yous were jolly so chill. Now it's just so toxic like your Holly and Phil. So you guys will probably appreciate this one here. I think we could do something good. We can do something good. We can work well. Hi, Mary. Have you got problems hearing me? Can you can't hear me or see me? Still there? Peter Mural's house, Paul J. Yeah, absolutely. He's a disgrace. He is a disgrace, R. Kelly. Peter Muro. Oh, Sturgeon's husband. Right, right. I was thinking, who is this Peter Muro? Last week to face police quiz probe into sex SMP sex pest Jordan London. Hmm. Is there sound problems, guys? Maureen says she can't hear. Some say that he really got killed. You know, Lanny. I was with Michael Jackson. I was going to the going to go to one of the gigs in London at the O2. And when more and more shows got added on, because initially it went from like 8 to about 18, and then overall he was going to do what, 50 shows. And I remember saying to myself, I genuinely remember I said this to myself, this is going to kill him. I just thought, even, and I'm 18 years old at the time, and I thought, there's no way he's going to be able to do 50 shows. I was just far too much. And the stress it must have put on him, thinking, I'm going to be doing 50 freaking shows. And I think it was the amount of shows that killed him in the end. Maybe in the end, if it was 10 to 12, I get that, but it was just too much in the end. Yeah, some people seem to be, yeah, Callie, you've got the stream. It seems to be some people have a problem with it and others don't. But then it is that thing though, if people have a problem, then it gets cut off. And then yeah, Cara, yeah, I think Roger Waters, he is going down a dark path. Yeah, he is. Seems to be some people are having problems, are they? But I might wrap this up just in a few minutes. Going on quite long. Yeah, it does buffer, does it, sorry, Gav? Yeah. It can be a bit of a pain in the arse like that. Mm. Holly, are you okay? Lenny, honestly, I think if he's going to make a comeback, I think if he's going to make a comeback, I could see him going back to Talk TV. I could see him going back on there. God, you're creasing. Charles Kennedy is trending on Twitter. What's Charles Kennedy been up to? Oh shit, sorry. Charles Kennedy passed away. Forgive me, sorry. He seemed like a good guy. He had a way with words, right? He had his issues, right? He had his issues with alcohol. Yeah, we're gonna. I think we're gonna something good. Me and Cal Maureen, because I want to get a good few songs out there. Is it actually 33 million, Paul? Is it really 33 million? What is it with that number 33? They say that like 33 is the most powerful number, right? Jesus died when he was 33. All these other things are 33, 33. The bloody guy who was arrested, who had the disgusting thing on the shirt about 97, relation to Hillsborough, not enough. He was 33. The guy that the girl from Towie, her ex, got in a car wreck and died. He was 33. Prince Harry, right, with this lawsuit going on, with how many charges have the Sun got with this phone hacking stuff? You guessed it, right? You guessed it. 33. 33, right? There seems to be something with the number 33, and powerful, powerful number. It's no coincidence, trust me. Now, I've got no problem with 23, Cara, nothing against that number. 369 are divine numbers. Yeah, it's about the numbers, right? And I mean, numbers, numbers, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like a bad person, you're a conniving person, but it is about the numbers, though, Paul. Lanny, is Holly Willoughby a robot? Maybe she blew a fuse Monday morning. Are you okay? Yeah. I mean, what do you say about Holly Willoughby at this point? I don't know, guys. I mean, I had my I had my video, on the whole thing about Holly. You'll find it, Holly will be putting the waterworks on. I'll give my thoughts on that. I want to gradually get away from just talking mostly about Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield, though. But yeah, I wasn't sure about number 7, Cal, but yeah, 6, the Devils. Yeah, because it's interesting. I saw a comment on this. It was one of this guy. It's like um, he was he had a tweet on this. Just one second. What was he saying? People say like 13, like 13 is like a bad number, like that's the number with the Satanists. But people will say that Satanists actually they took that number. That was actually a godly number. Or that's weird. Weird. There was a good tweet I saw about that number, and then it just went away. Oh, what is it? Yeah, can't find it. Yeah, yeah. I understand about that, Callie, because yeah, you were covering this before it was cool to do it, and then everybody jumped on the bandwagon. I mean, I got in there just before the story really blew up, and then about 24 hours after I did my video, then they started Daily Mail mentioned to do with the rumors about the affair, and then you brought me, you showed your video on one of your streams, and that obviously helped me out. So I was, really did appreciate that, mate. Yeah, yeah. Oh, is it now a 21 club for celebrities? I take it that's probably a lot of these young rappers, right? They get shot and stuff, but yeah, because they say with 27, right? Oh, no problems, mate. But 27, yeah, because they say that basically all the numbers you start from 0 right down to 9, and they say that obviously 2, 7, add them together, 9, obviously, and that 9, that's the completion of life. So that's why they say that's why it's 27, because 2, 7, that's the theory I've heard. So some might say, well, you could add up to 9, 3, 6. People it could be a 36 club, but I don't know. Or then even the 18 club. But Tesla. You talking Nikola Tesla? Or are you just talking the company now in general? Yeah, for no, like I couldn't remember about Charles Kennedy, right? And anytime I heard him talk, I thought he seemed like an all right guy. I mean, not that I fully agree with him politically, but he seemed like an all right guy. And um, obviously he had his demons, though, didn't he? That was one thing. He had his issues. Young lean Cali. Yeah, what's happening with all these rappers that have passed away so young? Nah. And then one of the guys from the Migos passed away. That's what happens, right? Fentanyl and mhm. It's Paul J. Coral Castle, created by the Latvian American Centric. Hmm. Interesting. Popular. Is that like to be like the shape of the six? Is that what I take it? That's the symbol, right? Yeah, he from what I heard, Divided Kingdom, the guy that he was one of the more like the more chill guys in the group, right? I wasn't a big follower of theirs. Didn't really listen to their stuff, but I heard that Takeoff was he was like the guy that they all liked. Yeah. It just seems so dumb that they were in this argument. These guys that sold millions of records that should have millions in the bank. It just some real dumb shit, though. Eh? Yeah, yeah. Send that over, mate. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, but it is about the numbers, though, isn't it? And that 33 number, I was giving those examples. That's I don't know, just something about it. Just it doesn't. It just too much of a coincidence in my book, you know. Swedish rapper. So Swedish rapper had a mental health bipolar diagnosis. Was it that guy Avicii? Was he not the one that was had the problem? Ah, no worries. No worries, Caro. Nah, we would never say shit behind your back. But night. Take care, Han. I'm gonna be wrapping this up in a few minutes anyway. But young lean. Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I see. I'm more of the old school stuff to be honest. Like, I am like 50 Cent, Ja Rule, Jay Z were my guys, and I like Kanye West as well. I don't know how familiar you are with their stuff, Callie, or um, what about Drake? Do you like Drake? You into his stuff or the star mark of Clyde Bank? Is this your theories, right, with the shape of it, Paul? Is this what this is about, Clyde Bank? Right. Well, that one thing, Maureen. I mean, I've got people in my family that are bipolar, and it's no joke, and I've had some problems with mental health as well, and it's old rap and funk. Yeah, I'm a big fan of old school rap, funk music, jazz, soul. Big fan of that stuff. Young Lean is he Swedish? I'm not that familiar with Young Lean, to be honest. Really, John? I thought it was Rapper's Delight, wasn't it? Motel, Holiday Inn. Yeah, Mac Miller. Yeah, well, I think Mac. Yeah, he could rap, and he had credibility within the community as somebody that could spit and had bars. Um, yeah, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up now. Getting quite late. Want to get a rest, but Oh, if you could do that, Callum, that would be great. That'd be excellent. I think we could do something. It'd be good. I want to get a couple of tunes out there. David Byrne, yeah, was it? Were you telling me, John? Was it David Byrne? Um, David Byrne was the guy that did the was it the Gypsy Woman cover? Because it was pretty good. Oh, schizophrenic. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it, Maureen? These are these are just the challenges that life can throw at us. Just have to try our best just to stay strong, take each day as it comes. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap this up slowly now. Black the Ripper, esoteric. Taking a note of this. Black the Ripper. But yeah, going to be going to be doing more and more of these live streams. So I think I'm going to be back. If it's not tomorrow, it's probably Thursday. Paul Socolo, I know that name, John. That name rings a bell. But I'm going to be back doing some more videos. I'll either do a live stream tomorrow or Thursday, but I do want to get that video out there about Will Smith. Do the dark side of Will Smith. I don't know. They might not accept that, YouTube, but I want to do that covering Will Smith, getting into all that stuff, very early days of his career, all the rumors that we've all heard, stuff to do with, obviously the stuff last year, the Chris Rock incident, and all that stuff there with his wife Jada. So definitely want to do a good few more videos with that. Oh yeah, Holly Valance was a babe though, right? Sorry, Gav. But that's it now. So I'm going to wrap this up. Been a lovely audience, guys. Much better than yesterday's. But yeah, so I'll probably be back either tomorrow or Thursday and do a live stream now. But thanks, guys. So have a good evening, rest of the evening. Thanks. See yous.